The NFL season is here. I know you have your bets that you want to make, whether in the office, your office pools, or with your friends, or legally in states that allow it. We all just want to make a little bit of money while we watch the greatest sport in the history of the world, football. So we're going to give you our Week 1 NFL pick'em and game predictions. So these are all going to be against the spread. We'll go in depth a little bit about why we like each play that's ahead.
This is Allaqcess, your home for fantasy sports talk.
Now, obviously, we're filming this a little bit earlier in the week, so we don't know these last-minute issues. There's a lot of things that pop up, injuries, weather concerns, as well as just overall things change. If you want to know the latest and the greatest on how we're going to place our bets, find us over on Twitter at all_access_CLT. You can see that at the top of the screen, as well as down in the description below, or follow me personally at Brad M. Lee. Either way, I'll follow you back on both of those. I mean, if you want a free follow on Instagram, I'll give you 2 for following me in Allaqcess. So we are going to be making our plays with the CBS Sports app. If you haven't already, I would strongly encourage you to check it out. Picks.cbssports.com. They have their football pick'em challenge there for your chance to win $100,000. Not a sponsor, and we are picking against the spread, as you can see. Typically, we make our plays just straight up and we tell you who's going to win, but we're going to try something new this year. We'll see how it goes after a couple weeks. If we absolutely bomb, I'm sorry. Start fading us. But hey, maybe we get on a roll, then you can start tailing us. How do you know that I'm going to be good? I have a backwards snapback like every other content creator on the face of the earth. You can't argue with a guy with a microphone and a snapback. Starting things off, we have the Buffalo Bills against the reigning Super Bowl champions, the Los Angeles Rams, who are currently not the favorite in terms of the spread. 2.5 points they're giving them at home. Now, I know Matthew Stafford's elbow is giving him a little bit of an issue, but the Rams are still very good. That's not to say the Bills aren't very good. I absolutely cannot wait to see this game kick off. I love Matthew Stafford. I love Cooper Kupp. Most importantly, I love Allen Robinson on this offense. Go ahead and lock it in. Give me the LA Rams to win this one. This is an interesting matchup of NFC South teams. I'm a Carolina Panthers fan, as you can probably tell behind me, or if you've been here on the channel before. One team that's probably bottom of the barrel, and another team in the New Orleans Saints that is screaming up the leaderboards in many people's eyes. Jameis Winston looks good. They got Olave back there. Alvin Kamara should play for an entire season. 5.5 points are being given to the New Orleans Saints right now. They're going up against the Atlanta Falcons, who are probably going to be able to put up a little bit of points with Kyle Pitts and some of the weapons that they have. I don't know if they're going to be able to compete with a Saints defense that's still very, very good. Alvin Kamara has been a matchup nightmare for the Atlanta Falcons for many, many years. Deion Jones on the IR right now. It's probably because he was kind of on the roster bubble. We weren't really sure if he was actually going to make the 53-man squad, but they're paying him a lot of money. They're paying him a lot of money to not be good, actually. So it'll be interesting to see how these linebackers play this situation. I think the Saints can spread them out a little bit. As long as Jameis Winston doesn't put them into trouble, they should be okay. Last year, before he got injured, was having career best in terms of touchdown to interception ratio. I look for that to continue against a very, very bad Atlanta Falcons team. Give me New Orleans Saints by 5.5. I mentioned it earlier that weather is going to play a really big factor into a lot of these games. This is no exception. The Cleveland Browns at plus 1.5 against the Carolina Panthers. Bank of America Stadium is going to be loud. They are going to be excited to see their new quarterback in Baker Mayfield take the field. He's got a lot of weapons with Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. They just picked up Laviska Shenault. I think they might be able to give the Cleveland Browns defense a few fits. Now on the other side, the Cleveland Browns front four are absolutely a nightmare for a reworked, patchworked offensive line that hasn't played in a full NFL game together yet. I see the Cleveland Browns defense doing really, really well with sacks and interceptions, and I think that keeps them in the game. However, bad weather makes a defense harder to be reactive than proactive. What I mean by that is the cuts from Christian McCaffrey are going to be violent, and it's going to be hard for the defense to find their footing in a wet, muddy game. I like his cutting ability more than Nick Chubb's cutting ability. From the outside looking in, the Carolina Panthers have the offensive weapons to chase down a lead. I don't know if the Cleveland Browns can do that with Jacoby Brissett, who got sacked a ton with the Miami Dolphins previously. It'll be interesting to see how quickly Brian Burns can get back there. I'm not sold on this one. I'm surprised at 78%, but I like Carolina at 1.5 right now. Not much needs to be said here with the San Francisco 49ers and the Chicago Bears. Both of them have two young quarterbacks in Justin Fields and Trey Lance. Save me the hate from the running backs of the 49ers. Elijah Mitchell is that guy from Louisiana. He was really good in college. He's been decently good in the NFL. When he's given an opportunity to shine, he has absolutely taken it, and I fully expect him to do that against the Bears. Plus, the Bears ranked nearly dead last in tackling percentage last year, meaning they gave up a number of missed tackles. They just weren't good tacklers. Now you go up against George Kittle, who breaks tackles. You go up against Deebo Samuel, who avoids tackles. Brandon Ayuk, who's big and physical. Trey Lance able to run out of the backfield. I absolutely love the 49ers, and this one to win by 6.5 easily. I think they win this one by 10. This one's kind of an interesting one. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Cincinnati Bengals, and it's another one that we're going to have to monitor the weather situation. Joe Burrow finally comes into camp completely healthy, except for his appendectomy. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. I'm willing to put those 3 wide receivers against anyone in the league. You've heard me say it a million times. Mitch Trubisky looks decent in the preseason. I'm just not a Mitch Trubisky lover. Being from the state of North Carolina, I got to see him a lot in college, and I just don't think he's good under pressure. Hendrickson, Hubbard, coming off the edges. Cincinnati Bengals now have a healthy linebacking core. I love the Bengals in this one. 6.5 is a ton to cover. Steelers are probably going to be running Najee Harris right up the middle against Cincinnati. I think they keep it close, but a late touchdown, a late score from the Cincinnati Bengals will put it over the top. We're going to take the favorite one more time at -6.5 with the Bengals. Now we have a matchup with 2 teams that have gotten immensely better, in my opinion, in the offseason. You look at the Detroit Lions. They've picked up a couple weapons for Jared Goff to throw to. Hawkinson is healthy. DeAndre Swift has had a whole offseason to get healthy. Amon-Ra St. Brown looks like he could be that dude. I really like this offense, but the Philadelphia Eagles could be the most improved team in the entire league. They've gotten more stout up front through the draft. They added Hassan Reddick. I like when they're able to get Hawkinson out in space, but that pass rush is going to get to Jared Goff so quickly that I think they're going to have some real problems. Detroit struggled with the red zone defense last year. They gave up a ton of touchdowns to the wide receivers. I think A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith go off in this game. 3.5 points is a very, very small window. I don't know if Detroit can keep up with it because I just don't know if they have the firepower or the defense to make stops. If there was one lock that I have right now and you're in a survivor pool, I don't see why the Eagles aren't that play. I mean, I guess you could go with like the Colts or you could go with Baltimore, but the Eagles have to be up there in strong consideration in my opinion. Locking it in, another favorite at 3.5, the Philadelphia Eagles. Matt Ryan is leading his Indianapolis Colts into Houston. Taking on the Houston Texans, currently the Colts sit at 7.5-point favorites, and I think that is massive. Anytime you're just over that 1 touchdown threshold, that's tall. 6.5, doable. 7.5, yes, I think Jonathan Taylor's going to go off in this game. I really like Matt Ryan and Michael Pittman to go off in this game. But on the flip side, the Texans have some weapons. People are obviously focused on Dameon Pierce. I'm going to hold off. I'm going to keep reservation. It's still a very bad offense. But you have Brandon Cooks, who has big play mentality. Brevin Jordan is actually a talented tight end. Nico Collins, a very good red zone threat. He goes up and gets the ball at its highest point. Go watch some of his game film. He attacks the ball in the red zone. I expect that the Texans are able to make some plays. I'm not in love with the Colts at -7.5. I'm not in love with the Texans at +7.5, but I do love the fact that it's over 1 touchdown. For now, we're going to lock in Houston at 7.5 just because they're at home. They're going to focus in on shutting down Jonathan Taylor, making Matt Ryan make his passes to weapons that outside of Michael Pittman Jr. don't quite exist yet. Give me the Texans at +7.5 with new head coach Lovie Smith. I absolutely love these in-division, in-conference competitions so early in the season. The Patriots and the Dolphins. And I don't know if there's a game on this slate that no matter which way it goes, the team that loses is going to overreact. Like the world is just absolutely crumbling in on them. The New England Patriots are already having reports out of camp that this offense is the worst offense that they have seen in years. Mac Jones isn't getting it. The wide receivers look bad. Jacoby Myers isn't it. Devontae Parker isn't it. They don't know what they're doing at the running back position. They have Hunter Henry in as tight end. On the flip side, you have the Miami Dolphins. They have 2 amazing wide receivers on the outside, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Mike Gesicki down low. They have a stable of running backs that most teams would just drool to have. But you have a new coach. You've had a lot of drama in the offseason. You have a really good defense that's going to come out firing on all cylinders to try and shut down Mac Jones. A smart man in this one isn't playing the Patriots or the Dolphins. They're taking the under. If you want my second lock of the week, it's the Patriots Dolphins under their team totals. However, that's not really what we're discussing here. I know you degenerates want something to grab onto, so here we go. Miami Dolphins at -2.5. I think Tyreek Hill can put some points on the board. It's going to be a very low-scoring game, in my opinion. I wouldn't be surprised if it was something like 17-19. But I think the Dolphins have the weapons to spread you out a little bit more. Bill Belichick is going to put on a clinic for other teams to use. He is a brilliant defensive mind. He's going to put on a clinic for what other teams should do to shut down this wide receiver duo, because people are going to be afraid of them later on in the season. I guess since we have to take one, even though 72% of the people are on it, Miami Dolphins -2.5. Baltimore Ravens, the New York Jets. The New York Jets, who don't really know who they're going to have at quarterback. There's been reports yesterday that said Zach Wilson could be ready. And then today, reports come out that Zach Wilson might not be ready. He might not be ready until week 4. That's going to leave you with Joe Flacco, who quietly, I'm a Joe Flacco fan. In a revenge game against the Baltimore Ravens? This story writes itself. Again, we're over that touchdown total line of 7.5. The New York Jets do have weapons. I don't know if the Jets have enough firepower in them to keep up with the Ravens. 86% of people are currently sitting on Baltimore at 7.5. That's ludicrous to me. Do we go ahead and take another dog? Absolutely not. Give me the Baltimore Ravens at -7.5. I like them to win this one by double digits. Since we're talking a lot about the over and unders, I'm going to need y'all to come join me over on Thrive Fantasy this season. Thrive Fantasy is a daily fantasy sports and esports app for player props. So if you like the NFL, tennis, baseball, Valorant, League of Legends, anything and everything, it's over there on the app. With Thrive, you don't have to worry about every single player that's in the game. You don't have to worry about these hours of research that you probably do and put into your Draftkings lineup. You're only looking at probably 20 of the best players in the league. You're going to choose 10 of the 20 available player props to build your lineup. Each prop is assigned a fantasy value for both over and under based on how likely it is to hit. Hit the most props, rack up the most points, and you can win your share of the prize pool. Matter of fact, try it right now. Thrive has $350,000 in guaranteed prize pool money for week 1 of the NFL season. Their featured contest for week 1 is $25 with $250,000 in guaranteed prize money, as well as $50,000 going to first place. Now, you best believe you're actually playing for second place because I'm taking first. But if you want a chance to compete, head over to Thrive Fantasy. Use promo code ACCESS, that's AQCESS. It's all in the description below when you sign up today, and you'll receive a 100% instant first deposit match up to $100. So if you put $100 in there, you get $100 for free to play with. Download Thrive Fantasy on the App Store or the Play Store, or by visiting their website, www.thrivefantasy.com. Sign up and prop up today. Again, all of that information is down in the description below, and I look forward to seeing you over there. Now's the time where we're probably going to see a couple of these dogs get picked. We look at all of the games. With Thrive Fantasy, you just need to look at some of the players, but in this game in particular, the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Washington Commanders could be an absolute beautiful moment. The Jaguars under new coaching, new leadership, better weapons, better defense. They've added a lot of pieces. They could be a sneaky team this year. Yes, it is very early in the season. Yes, I'm probably speaking out of my woohoo right now. Antonio Gibson is literally one fumble away from working at a Bojangles drive-thru window. It appears that the coaching staff doesn't like him. There's been rumors and murmurs for seasons that he is this close to being out the door. The Jaguars need to start hot. They need to start fresh. Trevor Lawrence looks really good, targeting not only Christian Kirk, but Evan Ingram. Plus, he gets his boy Travis Etienne back, and this is an offense that is going to be clicking on all cylinders. Give me Jacksonville plus 3.5. Matter of fact, I would take them to win outright. I told you I had 3 locks. I've given you 2. This one might be 3.5. Kansas City Chiefs and the Arizona Cardinals. This is one of those games that, although you expect a lot of points, it could have like a lot of points put up in this one. Patrick Mahomes has a bunch of question marks for his talent right now. We don't know if it's going to be Juju. Is it going to be Valdez-Scantling? Who's going to be that guy? Maybe it's Sky Moore. It'll be interesting to see how they roll out their offense. And the Arizona Cardinals, missing their best piece right now in DeAndre Hopkins, still have Marquise Hollywood Brown, Zach Ertz, Rondale Moore, A.J. Green. They still have a slew of weapons, as well as James Conner, who's one of the best red zone backs in the league. The Cardinals do lose a little bit on defense, which is going to make life a little bit easier for Patrick Mahomes. I think this game is going to be very close. It's going to be very, very down to the wire. I think last team to score wins, and I hope that makes sense. It doesn't sound as stupid as it sounds coming out of my mouth when I say it. Give me the Chiefs to win by 3.5, but it's going to be a very, very close one and could go either way. Another 425 game out on the West Coast. Shout out to the West Coast people. The Las Vegas Raiders and the LA Chargers going to this one. Both offenses look impressive. People forget that Derek Carr and Devontae Adams both went to college together. On the flip side, you have the LA Chargers led by Brandon Staley, who have one of the best offenses, if not teams, in the entire league. Las Vegas Raiders have a brand new coaching staff. The Chargers have a lot of consistency and things that are coming back from last year. I think the LA Chargers right now have too much to handle defensively for the Raiders. Now, come the end of the season, it could be a different story. I think both of these teams are capable of making the playoffs. Matter of fact, I'm willing to say that these might be the best two teams in the AFC West by the end of the season. Only because of the consistency and having a little bit healthier defense right now, I've got to go with the LA Chargers at minus 3.5. Okay, so I gave you 2 locks already. I gave you 2.5 locks, really. But if you want a third lock, this is the game. Many people are saying the Green Bay Packers are the second best team in the NFC. Yes, the Minnesota Vikings bring in a brand new offensive coordinator to help Kirk Cousins with his weapons of Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Irv Smith, Dalvin Cook. I like the way this offense is shaping up. Aaron Rodgers could be without wide receiver 1 and 2 for opening week. Yes, the Vikings defense needs a lot of work, but that Vikings offense at home is scary good. Justin Jefferson lit them up last year. Yes, they were missing a few key pieces. They now have Quay Walker, Devondre Campbell over the middle. They bring back a couple healthy defensive backs. Packers are good. Vikings better in week 1. Give me the Minnesota Vikings 2.5 to win straight outright. New York Giants and the Tennessee Titans. I'm not going to say too much about this. I don't believe in the New York Giants. I think Saquon Barkley, I think people are overhyping him because that offense is going to be so bad, in my opinion, under Danny Dimes, that he's not going to get as much work as he should. He is still an elite level talent, but he's not going to get used in the capacity that he should. Meanwhile, you have Derrick Henry ready to go after taking basically a full year off. I say off, he was rehabbing from an injury, but he's ready to go and hit the ground running quite figuratively and literally. Give me the Tennessee Titans at 5.5. Finally, our Sunday night game, one of the highest scoring games on the slate. Tom Brady at 45 apparently still has more zip on the ball than half of the rookies that have come into the league this year. Sure, he's had a little bit of work done to his face, but he's been working even harder in the offseason on his throws. That was corny. The front seven from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers does not allow 100-yard rushers. They do not bite on the play-action passes. Tampa Bay Bucks minus 1.5 over the Dallas Cowboys. And now, depending on how you feel about it, this could be one of the most exciting matchups in Week 1. Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos against his former team and the Seattle Seahawks. Geno Smith looks to be that guy that's going to be going for Seattle. He's looked okay throwing to Tyler Lockett. He looks really good throwing to DK Metcalf. By the way, if you're playing any player props on any platform, DK Metcalf in season over, I believe right now is at 65. I think he absolutely smashes through that. I mentioned it earlier. The AFC West is probably the most dominant division in the NFL. There's no reason the Broncos should lose this game. 5.5, I would take them as a touchdown. Russell Wilson in a revenge game. He's going to make the plays necessary with his legs, with his arm. It's just going to happen. Seattle doesn't have an answer for that yet. Give me Denver at minus 5.5, and that is your 16 games. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me at any point in time. I said anything that you found valuable, put a like on this video, drop it in the comments if you plan on fading, tailing, or just staying away from betting in general. I look forward to a massive NFL season for us here on Allaqcess. Hopefully you can be a part of it. If you play DraftKings DFS, go check out some of the other videos that we've already uploaded with our sleepers and value plays and our studs and stacks. Those are those high value guys that you need to get in your lineups this week to make sure you can take home the cash. Also, there's a chance to win a Millionaire Maker ticket if you didn't notice in 2 of those videos. I appreciate you hanging out with me today. Talking a little bit NFL is what I absolutely love to do. If you have any comments about anything, any questions, put it in the comments. Fantasy football, DFS, DraftKings, ESPN Streak for the cash. If you want to talk about weather, talk to me in the comments. I'll be responding to each and every single one of them. I appreciate the heck out of you being here. God bless. Have a good one, and good luck week 1.